Steve Dowdo here, thanks for joining me. Ever since I got my very first iPod, I've been searching for the perfect home music system. Over the years, I've collected thousands and thousands of songs on my iPod, created playlists, and then tried to find ways to get that music from my iPod into my home theater system or my home speakers to share it through my house. And I always bump my head against a series of limitations. The first was, while we had tools like AirPlay, which are terrific tools where we can take our music and we can send it to an AirPlay-enabled device, with AirPlay, we're only able to send our music to a single device. So if I want to listen to the same music in my bedroom and in the living room and the kitchen, I can't do that. I have to take my device from room to room or come up with some other system. Well, there's a company called Sonos who's been working on the exact same problem, and they have come up with what, in my mind, is probably the slickest and best solution in this area. Now, I will give you one caveat. The Sonos system is not cheap. You're buying good quality audio hardware and networking gear that pulls it all together, around about $400 to $600 per component, depending on what component you get. So by the time you kit out a house, you're going to drop, anywhere between $800 and $2,000. But my oh my, once you set up a system, you have a system that will work for you exactly the way you want. At least if you are like me, if you want to be able to control what music is played where. Let me show you the different components of the Sonos music system. And there aren't that many pieces because each piece does double duty. We have, our basic pieces are a bridge, this little bridge here. The bridge is what you plug into your router. Once you've plugged your bridge into your router, all of the other Sonos components connect wirelessly to your bridge. Actually, what happens is Sonos builds a mesh Wi-Fi network on top of your own network, so it doesn't affect your own network performance speed, but each device connects to the other through a Wi-Fi technology, and as you add more components, your network is built out with greater range and greater reliability. Then they have two tools called the Connect and the Connect Amp. These tools allow us to connect the Sonos system into our home theater system or into a set of speakers if we've got just speakers sitting by themselves. And then the main components that most people buy are these two speaker systems. The Play 3, which are smaller speakers, but the quality is excellent, great for small rooms. And they also have the Play 5, which is a bigger, deeper, richer sound. It's more suitable for larger rooms. And finally, the big subwoofer, which is also available. Because depending on how you want to configure this, the Sonos system can replace your home theater system. You can use it in a variety of ways. Now, essentially what happens is we take and we build in increasing layers each of these different devices and connect them to the other device and create this mesh of all of our different speakers. But the net result is we're able then to take our music and determine exactly which speaker we're sending it to, because we name and address each of these speakers differently. So we can create our own clusters, and we can say we just want this music to play in the kitchen and living room, not in the bedroom, or just in the bedroom, not in the kitchen and living room, or any combination. It gives you that kind of control. Now, setting up the Sonos system, very, very straightforward. It was an easy process for me. You install on your computer this Sonos management console. And when you do that, what you do is you go in and you add Sonos components. It's such a simple process. You plug the router in first, add the component, and that's that little dock thing that we see right here. Once that's connected, we add more components just by simply plugging them in and then hitting the buttons, and then it automatically connects. There's really nothing to it. It just takes a few seconds to connect each device. And then when you connect each device, you name the devices logically so that you know exactly what they are, and then you have the control to be able to address the music going to each of the devices. Now, the longest part of the installation process is importing your music library, of which I had thousands of songs in iTunes, importing your music library into the Sonos music system. And once it's in there, you can organize it into your own playlist. You can determine all of those sorts of things just like any other system. But here's where the magic of Sonos starts to come. It's all of the different bundled pieces that they've added. So as well as my own music library, which I've imported, which I can access here just like as if I'm in iTunes, they also have the ability for us to tune into internet radio. And they use this radio app, so you can go and you can choose local stations in your local area, or it's radio stations from anywhere in the world, I guess. So here's my local station in Vancouver, since I live in Vancouver. And look here, there's the station my radio show is on, CIL 650. So if you have to tune into one, that's a good one to tune into. We also, you can pre-program all of your different stations. You can have them set as presets so that you can automatically say wake up. We've got it set up ourselves so that we wake up to a radio station in the morning. So you have those options. As we go through, and the radio stations are broken into themes and all sorts of other areas as you'd expect. But the real magic for us came, and the revelation for me came when I looked into the more music feature here within Sonos. And these are all the different services that they've licensed, and they have plugins to work with within Sonos. So if you use Audible, if you listen to audiobooks, you can sign into your Audible account and then access it directly through Sonos. So you can stream that music directly through Sonos, as is the same case with all of these other services, including the very popular radio, Slacker Radio, Wolfgang's Vault, which if you haven't checked out, you need to check out. It's a collection of recordings from, I think, the Fillmore in San Francisco, where they recorded bands all through the 70s and early 80s. They recorded all of these live concerts of wonderful musicians coming through and playing there, and they were never added or recorded and published as records, but instead these archives are being cleaned up and released, and it's pretty much free. An awesome thing if you're a big fan, especially of the 70s music scene. Now, the one service that we found that I signed up for, though, is this one called Songza. Now, in Canada, we haven't had really good streaming music services that are really free. I mean, we've got RDO, and they're pretty good services, but we haven't had access to, for instance, Pandora in Canada because of licensing issues. So when Songza was released and they had all of the licensing in Canada, it was a bit of a revolution for a lot of us here in Canada to find a really good streaming service. And here's the benefit. With thousands of songs in my playlist, it takes me forever, or in my iPod, for example, it takes me forever to build my playlists, and I find that increasingly a task. With Songza, they've got all of the playlists already created, and they design them around how you live. So for Friday afternoon, which is when I'm recording this piece right now, this is the concierge service for Friday afternoon, and you can go through and you can choose any of these different themes to play and stream through. And since we've discovered Songza, we haven't played any of our own music anymore, because the music that's coming through in the playlists, and the playlists are so well defined that we just choose to use the Songza playlist. That's the way it's gone for us. Christmas is coming, so you choose some holiday music, and even within the holiday, you've got all these different sub-themes of great playlists that stream through. So we haven't, as I say, we haven't found the need to play our own playlist, and we also haven't bought a song since. We've just been using the service. I'm sure we will. Over time we will start to buy music again and all those sorts of things. But we're just really enjoying using these playlists. Not only do they have they themed around the time of day and the time of year, but there's also things like workout music. There's nature sounds for when you're going to fall asleep and all those sorts of things if you choose to use them. So you can access all of these right from this control panel here. And then we see over here on the left side, we see our speakers laid out. Now, I've only got two speakers set up right now. They're bedroom and living room speakers. And you can choose to group them into groups or play them as individuals. If we click on group, you see we can pull them together into a group. So the same, in this case here, I'm listening to CBC FM. The same music is going to be playing in both of those. So we create that group, and now it's a group of the two. That's the basis of how Sonos works. The quality of sound, excellent. The reliability, it seems to always just work. Every time you add a new component, the network gets that much stronger, so you can build it out. If you want speakers in the garage and you've got 3 or 4 speakers in the house, you probably have enough network juice to get it out to the garage. And of course, there is also an app available that allows you to run it on your iPhone or your Android device, your iPad. I've got it set up here on my iPad. Let me just show you the app on the iPad. Here it is here as it comes up. And here's the cool thing about it. What I've been using a lot lately is when I go to bed at night, I love to listen to a little bit of music, but I like the music to turn off before I go to sleep. So I go into my Songza here in my iPad. I choose my recent, because you can see all the recent playlists that we've listened to. And look it up. Solo Piano, The Sphere of the Monk. I don't remember what that was. The World of Chet Baker. We're just listening to some great playlists. But when I choose the fall asleep music, I'm going to get it playing. Start it playing right now. Of course, in the playing area, we see exactly who's playing, and the music will start streaming through. I've got one of the speakers here in the room here, so you might hear it a little bit in the background as it fires up. And then, this is the magic. Down at the bottom, I click on Sleep Timer. I say turn it off in 2 hours. After I'm fast asleep, then the music itself turns down as well. So I get to fall asleep to nice, restful music, and I think I'm sleeping a little better as a result. I hope you found this useful today. If you have, please show us some love. Give us a like, or by all means, please sign up for our playlist here on YouTube as well. We do one of these videos each week, and we certainly enjoy it when you drop by and take a look. I'm Steve Dotto. Thanks for tuning in today.